Hey there YouTube, Zach Butler YGO back with a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck video. Gotta show some love to Kaiba Corp with the awesome Blue Eyes White Destiny structure deck just released over the past week. I'm not going to be showing the Primite build, that I think is pretty much understood to be the best build, and I'm not showing the Invoke build. I think that's kind of the most popular secondary build to the Primite build. Instead, I'm going to be showing you some Metalmorph cards in the deck, actually, and showing some love to that. If you want to pick up any of the cards found in this video, go ahead and use the link in the description below. A portion of that does go back to the channel and helps out a ton. Now, as we jump into this, just keep in mind, if we get this video to 20 likes, I'll go ahead and show some of the bread and butter combos you can do and test hands with this deck, because it is a lot of fun. And if we go ahead and get it to 50 likes, I will actually substitute this deck in to my Back to Basics series, or I'll start a whole other series just powering up this deck. Let me know down below what you want to see. But let's just jump right in. Of course, we have, starting off, 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons. You gotta have those in a Blue Eyes White Dragon based deck. Unfortunately, there's no need for 3, which is unfortunate because this is one of my favorite cards from my childhood, but you only need 2, so we're going to minimize on our bad draws there, because it is a card you want to search out and special summon more than ever draw it. Then we have 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. This is your main normal summon. What it does is, on normal summon, it adds a level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand, besides a copy of itself, and then you can target one monster you control, one effect monster, if this is in your hand. Discard this, and if you do send that monster to the grave, special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck. You're probably not going to be using that effect too often, but it is possible and something you want to keep in mind. Next, we have 3 Maiden of White. This is one of the brand new cards from that structure deck that I just mentioned. What it does is, on not even on summon, it's just a level 1 light spellcaster tuner. If it's in your hand or on the field, you can send it to the graveyard. Place a true light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up to your spell trap zone. So this actually can play around Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, because they can't Ash Blossom this because it places, which is pretty cool. If you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon while this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card back, and so that's a free level 9 synchro. Also, if it's targeted by a card effect, or if it's attacked while it's on the field, you can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a level 1 light tuner from your graveyard. You only use each of these effects once per turn. This is a very key card. Oftentimes you will summon Sage, send Maiden to place True Light, then link this off and go do all of your crazy plays. Like I said, we can get to if we get to those likes, I'll show some of those bread and butter combos, because we have some pretty cool stuff coming up. To go with the Maiden, we do have the 1 True Light. This is a pretty ridiculous card. Your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with card effects, so that's pretty good. If this face-up card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control, so that is something to keep in mind. If they Harpy's Feather Duster this, for example, your monsters can be destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can only use one of the following effects once per turn, sorry about that. So you can either special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard, or you can set a spell or trap directly from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its text with a different name from the cards you currently control and in your graveyard. That's really important, because some of the cards can banish themselves, so you want to be able to make sure you have your toolbox of cards, and Blue Eyes White Dragon has a ton of support. And also, if you guys want to see a more anime-based version of this deck, I can go ahead and do that. Let me know down below as well. Next up, we have probably one of the greatest cards that you could ever imagine for a Blue Eyes deck, which is 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Another one of the brand new cards. This card is ridiculous. It's a normal spell. Discard 1 card, add a level 1 light tuner, and 1 spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except for Wishes for Eyes of Blue. So it can't search itself, which is probably pretty good. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon you control. Equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell that gives it 400 attack. You can only use each effect once per turn. That's really important because of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon having the graveyard protection from targeting, so you want to be able to banish it. Banish the wishes, attach the Neo to the Blue Eyes, and then keep playing from there. Then you have 1 Mausoleum of White. Typically, you only want to play 1 of this card, because just like in the Salamangreat deck, with Bait Links, you have infinite ways to get to this. just like you had infinite ways to get to Balinks thanks to your Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now, what Mausoleum of the White does is during your main phase, you can normal summon one level 1 light tuner in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. And then once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control, send one normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and increase your monster's attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent times 100 to the end of the turn. And then if this is in the graveyard, you can banish it to add a copy of Burst Stream of Destruction from your deck to your hand. We're not playing Burst Stream of Destruction, but that is something that came up during the Structure Deck tournaments, which I thought was pretty cool. And we have one Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. This card is a on-theme emergency teleport. Special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon monster, or Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard, or banishment in defense position. But if you control no Blue Eyes White Dragons, you can only special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except dragon monsters. And then you can banish this card from the graveyard, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a Blue Eyes monster. You can only use this effect of Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons once per turn. You can only use one effect once per turn and only once that turn. So you can only use one effect and only once. And then we have one Majesty of the White Dragons, yet another new support card. You can show up to 3 of the Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, face a monster zone and or graveyard, then destroy an equal number of cards your opponent controls. You can banish this from the graveyard and then ritual summon using monsters as well. Typically, you're only going to be doing the destruction effect, not playing any of the rituals, but if you wanted to play those, you absolutely could. For the supplementary engine, I'm actually doing the Black Metal Dragon. We are, unfortunately for Kaiba, adding in some of Joey Wheeler's monsters here. So we've got 3 Black Metal Dragon, and that searches out your 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which is one of the best dragon extenders in the game's history, as well as 1 Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. And this is one of the reasons why we're playing this deck, is because we get to play this and Max Metalmorph. So what this does is, if it cannot be normal summoned or set, it must first be special summoned by the effect of Max Metalmorph, which we'll get into in a moment. That was activated by attributing a level 5 or higher dragon monster, which of course you have. You can reveal this card in your hand and then set 1 Metalmorph trap from your deck, and if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate the activation, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack and defense of 1 attack position monster your opponent controls. You can only use each effect of Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon once per turn. So it's just a searchable Omni Negate. Oftentimes your basic turn can come down to normal summon Black Metal Dragon, link into Spirit, search the spell, search for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, bring back the Black Metal Dragon, link it into another Spirit, and then you get to search out the Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. That is the basic concept there. Then you have Max Metalmorph. You contribute 1 face-up monster, special summon 1 monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, and mentions Max Metalmorph from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to it with the following effect. The equipped monster gains 400 attack and defense, cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with monster effects or spell cards or effects. So it's basically impossible to target, as well as impossible to out, and can be summoned from pretty much anywhere. So this small package gives you an Omni Negate as well as a bunch of extension. Then the rest of the deck is non-engine. We are jam-packed with a ton, and that is because this is a very slow-rolling deck. Even for the Blue Eyes deck, this is actually much more mid-range than the previous ones. So we have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, 3 Effect Veilers, 3 Nibiru the Primal Beings, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and then 1 each of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, Bestial Magnemite, Bestial Druis Worm, Triple Tactics Talent, and then 3 copies of Crossout Designator in the main deck as well, because Nibiru the Primal Being can be quite a pain for this deck. Now, if you wanted to increase the power of the deck, you could obviously add the Molcharmies if you have them. I am choosing not to play them in this one. I'm trying to keep this very budget-friendly. You'll notice the most expensive card so far shown has probably been the Druis Worm, honestly, although the Full Metal Dragon, I believe, is about $7 to $8. The rest of this is obviously Structure Deck. But the Druis Worm is the most expensive card so far at about $20. Crossout Designators can be about $1. Magnemite is very cheap as well. But this non-engine pretty much covers everything, and then you have Crossout Designator covering all your bases as well, including the 1 Triple Tactics Talent to make sure that they can't talents to take your cards, because that is a very real threat. But between Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Nibiru, Imperm, and even Ghost Ogre, you're pretty set to go. Also, Ghost Ogre is good against this deck, and it's good against the Ryziel deck. Hitting the duo drive as well as the cross is pretty solid. So that is the main deck. For additional cards you could consider if you wanted to increase the main deck strengths in your own ways, you could go with 1-for-1. You could go with Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, a card I am always fond of getting to play. I actually have a version where I'm going to be focusing more on Jet Dragon than anything else. So if you want to see that, let me know. You could go with Where Art Thou, with Pyrurias map. Lots of different options if you wanted to increase your consistency. You could even go with Pot of Prosperity, because your extra deck is a toolbox. Speaking of the extra deck, we have one copy of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. This card is obnoxiously strong. It's Blue Eyes plus a dragon monster. Can either be fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by shooting a Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster, which is why you're going to be using the Wishes for Eyes of Blue to equip the Blue Eyes, and you'll be equipping it with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So that's how you're going to be summoning this guy. And what it does is that it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. It's unaffected by trap cards or effect, and once per turn at the end of the damage step, if it battled, you can set a trap card from your graveyard face down. So it goes ahead and recycles your imperms, which is obviously going to be insane. It is also how you can get multiple uses out of your Majesty with Eyes of Blue, or with Majesty of the White Dragons. It is also how you can actually, if you need to, reset your max Metalmorph, which is just a really cool little interaction there. Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is legitimately unsummonable. It requires 3 Blue Eyes, and we're only playing 2. But what it does that is relevant is that when a card effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this from your graveyard, negate that activation, and destroy that card. So it's a good way to play around cards like Effect Veiler, around Imperm, things like that. Then we have the one Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. This is your Omni Negate for cards on the field. You summon this by tagging out Spirit Dragon, the regular Spirit Dragon, and then it gains attack every time it negates a card for the turn. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one light dragon monster from your graveyard except for itself. So that's something to keep in mind. And then I'm actually playing one Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. This is specifically because I want to protect my copy of Ultimate Spirit Dragon. I want to end with 2 Spirit Dragons so I can tag out into these. And I like the Azure being able to do that. It also prevents more targeting, which again is a huge deal when you have cards like Ryziel Detonator running around in the format. 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon are after that. This is your main monster that you're going to end on. This is in the structure deck. Can either play special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Doesn't really matter. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated in the graveyard, you can negate the activation, and then you can tribute this card that has been tribute summon the synchro summoned card and special summon 1 light dragon monster from your extra deck in defense position. 1 light dragon synchro monster. And then it's destroyed during the end phase of this turn. So to go with that, we also have Ancient Fairy Dragon, as well as Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. Now, instead of Ancient Fairy Dragon, you could play Lightstorm Dragon. I'm liking Ancient Fairy Dragon just for the fact that you can just summon this and then pop field spells. Namely, Ryziel Cross is the field spell that I'm the most worried about, but it also has applications in other matchups. Also helps you in time. But then you have Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, which can bounce cards on summon, and then when high-level monsters are summoned as well. From there, we have 2 Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is how you get most of your plays started, actually, because it takes a level 1 spellcaster or dragon, or level 4 or lower spellcaster or dragon. So you have your Red Eyes, you have your Black Metal Dragon, you have your Maiden, and your Sage. What it does is on summon, it searches for Mausoleum of the White, and then you contribute it to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard. And then if it's an effect monster, it cannot attack and its effects are negated. But if it's a normal monster, it doesn't really matter. Also, while it's on the field, you are locked into summoning dragons, which is really important to remember because you can sometimes kind of mess up if you aren't very aware of that. Then we have the one Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres to go as part of the end field, if possible. 1 Lion of the Light Charmer, Lustrous, because we are seeing so many Blue Eyes decks. It's also good against Ryziel. 1 SP Little Knight. 1 Selene, because you do play so many spellcasters and you can always just use Lina. And then the access code to go with the Selene package. Shoutouts to Lucas Sacco and Jared Centimore. I saw that through Jared, and Lucas apparently was the one who originally posted that, so that's pretty cool. For the side deck, it is a whole grip of cards that we don't like for Malice. So we have 3 Chaos Hunter and 3 Artifact Lancia. Those are just for Malice. And I guess Crystron as well, if you have Crystron in your area, which I do. So that works out well. Then we have 3 Droll and Lockbirds for Ryziel format decks, as well as the Mirror Match, actually, because you do happen to do a lot of searching. And worst case scenario, it is a level 1 spellcaster. So you can always just normal summon it and then link into your Dragon Spirit with Dragon Spirit of White, I think is what it's called. Spirit with Eyes of Blue, that thing. The last card I'm citing that is really interesting is Sunny Pixie. So this is a very old level 1 light spellcaster tuner. And what it says that if it's sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon of a light synchro monster, you just gain 1,000 life points. So between Ancient Fairy Dragon and Sunny Pixie, I should be able to not lose in time, and with how slow this deck can be, because I'm not trying to do a ton, that can sometimes be an issue, so we just wanted to make sure we had something for time. Then there's 1 Called by the Grave, 2 Lightning Storms, Harpy's Feather Duster, and the final card is a single skill drain, because you are, at worst, just playing big monster beatdown. So that is the Blue Eyes Metalmorph deck. Let me know down below if you want to see some of the combos. I would love to show off some of the stuff you can do with this deck. Let me know if you want to see it in the Back to Basics series or in its own series. I am also happy to do that. Or let me know what other versions you want to see, and I can try to get my hands on the cards to do that. Until next time, though, have a great day.